Welcome into another edition of Locked On Now MLB Insider Report. I'm joined by our MLB insider, Gordon Beckham. I'm your host, Kainani Stevens. We've got some instant reaction for Game 3 of the World Series. And Gordon, I guess we were kind of due for one of these low-scoring, regular playoff baseball affairs. The Astros were held hitless until the 8th inning. I guess for you, who or what was most impressive to you in this game?
Yeah, I think the Braves staff altogether was amazing. I mean, Ian Anderson was not that good tonight in terms of the stuff that he has. He obviously held them to no hits, but he didn't have his best stuff, which is telling you a lot. He's 23 years old, and then the bullpen picks up right where he left off. Pretty special night by the Braves in general. They didn't have to score a lot. It very easily could have been a no-hitter. I mean, one was kind of a bloop single that probably should have been caught, and the other was a good job by Bregman to get a knock later on, get the tying run to the plate. But it was a completely dominant performance by the Braves bullpen and pitching staff all together. So special night in Atlanta. Obviously, one of the things that played a factor tonight was it was cold in Atlanta, kind of unseasonably cold, and it was rainy. It was the weather was nasty. Houston's generally used to playing inside of a dome, and so it was definitely telling tonight that it got to Houston a little bit. Their offense does not look synced up at all in any fashion.
They've been struggling offensively in this series, certainly. For both teams utilizing the bullpen in this game. What is this kind of set up going later in the series? I know there was mention that maybe Greinke will pitch, but the Braves are probably going to be a bullpen game again. So how does this kind of set things up for the rest of this series?
Well, winning the second game is just a big game. Or excuse me, getting to two wins is a big game, and I think the Braves are in a pretty good spot. I mean, they used a few guys out of the bullpen tonight, but not like it wasn't like a full bullpen game. So I think obviously it's gonna pay a toll maybe on Sunday, maybe not tomorrow, but more so on Sunday. But Houston doesn't know who's pitching. Atlanta doesn't know who's pitching because of all the issues they've had. Morton went down, right? So there's just kind of a lot of unknowns. But I think that Atlanta's got to feel good about where they're at. I mean, their bullpen is pitching better than it did all season. Houston's offense, which is the best offense in the big leagues all year, just looks completely lost at the plate. And the Braves got a chance to close it out at home. I mean, obviously they got to win two more games, but they haven't lost. I mean, they're 6-0 this playoffs at home, so they're really feeling good at Truist Park.
Obviously a disappointing performance for the Astros tonight, but the whole series has been very back and forth. It can change at any point. So far, have you been most impressed with the Braves? Is that the team that you're really seeing being successful so far in this?
Yeah, I just haven't been as impressed with the Astros. I've watched them a lot this year, and their offense is dynamic, and they just don't look like they're being the offense that we know. I think that there's the time off in between series had them kind of start off, kind of rusty, and then another off day, and they looked really bad tonight against a guy that really didn't have his best stuff. I mean, he was walking guys. He hit Bregman, and so he just hit a couple guys actually. So they were getting base runners on. They're just not hitting. And so it's not so much that the Braves have been that impressive. It's been the fact that Houston has been just pretty dismal so far. I mean, they just have not done anything great. Their pitching staff has done enough to keep them in games. But at the end of the day, they got to be able to score some runs, and their offense is just not looking good. If I was a Houston fan, I wouldn't feel good about the way that they're having the at-bats they're having. It's just not a good thing. But yeah, I would say Atlanta looks like the better team right now. They've got something going on. I mean, you've watched them the whole postseason. It's just they found a way to win. Found a way to win tonight in the bottom of the eighth. d'Arnaud hits a home run to really just kind of, put his foot on somebody's throat. I mean, it was two runs, but at the same time, it was like nobody was swinging the bat on Houston. So 2 runs it was ball game.
2 runs felt like 10 at that point in this one. It did feel like a little bit of a missed opportunity for them. Obviously, they're still, need to win. The Braves need to win 2 games to win this World Series. But does this next game really feels like to me that it's a must win for the Astros to kind of stay in this?
I think it's a must win. Now, that being said, I mean, the last time the Astros were down 2-1, they won the series, right? I mean, against Boston, they were down 2-1 and came back and won 3 straight. So you can't put anything past this team. But if the Braves go up 3-1, they're going to feel really good about that, and a chance to close it out at home. I think that's going to be too much for the Astros. So yeah, I don't think it's a must-win game, but if they don't win it, there's a really good chance that Atlanta's going to be holding that trophy at the end of the year.
Thanks, Gordon. Obviously, game 4 tomorrow. Game 5 is going to be on Halloween. So make sure you tune in for both teams. We have Locked On Braves and Locked On Astros. Will have you covered. For Locked On MLB Insider Gordon Beckham, I'm Kainani Stevens. Locked On, your team every day.